Modern literature didn't invent the witch. The 19th century gave her the face we still recognize, and a conscience. That's the story. From Circe and the Witch of Endor to Macbeth and the Pendle trials, the pieces pile up. By the Victorians, the broom, the hat, and the black cat are locked in, and the witch starts arguing back. Let's set the bones. In Homer's Odyssey, Circe runs an island of spells and potions. She lifts a wand, mutters a charm, and Odysseus's men sprout tusks and grunt in panic. Power, transformation, enchantment. That template sticks. Medea adds the moral volatility. Brilliant, dangerous, capable of rescue and revenge in equal measure. Then the Witch of Endor steps in from the Hebrew Bible. Saul sneaks to her at night. She summons Samuel's ghost and tells a king the truth he can't face. Prophecy, necromancy, consultation in crisis, all filed under witch long before the word exists in English. Medieval Europe keeps the magic but tightens the suspicion. Morgan Le Fay starts as a healer in Geoffrey of Monmouth's Vita Merlini, a skilled woman from Avalon. By later Arthurian romances, she's the king's scheming half-sister, an enchantress with an agenda. The shift says a lot about anxiety around female power. Then comes the printing press and a sledgehammer, the Malleus Maleficarum in 1487, insisting witchcraft is real, diabolical, and conveniently for its authors, mostly a female crime. On the Renaissance stage, witches take the spotlight. Shakespeare's weird sisters in Macbeth live rent-free in our heads for a reason. Withered faces, chappy fingers, beards that unsettle gender, and the chorus that everyone knows. Double, double, toil, and trouble. They echo the fates and bow to Hecate. They tempt, they foretell, they stir the pot. Literally. Other playwrights push different angles. The Witch of Edmonton gives us Mother Sawyer, poor and abused, shoved toward a demonic pact by her neighbor's cruelty. Thomas Middleton's The Witch brings Hecate down to earth with a coven and stage-worthy spells. Remember, these plays run alongside real trials and pamphlets. Audiences read accusations by day and watched cauldrons bubble by night. Belief and drama lock arms. The Enlightenment throws cold water. Reginald Scott's discovery of witchcraft may be a bit early for the full Enlightenment, but he's already openly skeptical. He mocks the stereotype. The old, poor, blear-eyed woman with wrinkles becomes a cultural cartoon. Irony. His list helps fix the hag image in place even as he argues against it. Now the gear everyone pictures. Brooms, cats, hats, cauldrons. The broom flies out of late medieval lore and early modern confessions. Some accused women said they traveled to Sabbaths on poles or staves. Artists upgraded into flight. By the 18th century, that silhouette is everywhere. Familiars come from trial records too. Imps in animal form, helping witches. Cats win the popularity contest after centuries of suspicion. A 13th century church text even smears black cats as satanic. The first famous witch's cat in English records, though, isn't black. In 1566, an Essex pamphlet describes a spotted white cat named Satan assisting its mistress. The cauldron needs no myth. Every kitchen had one, so a brewing pot becomes the perfect prop for Eye of Newt. The pointy hat, that's murkier. Possible roots in stigmatizing cap laws, possible exaggerations of Puritan or Quaker headgear. By the 18th and 19th centuries, engravers seal the look. Meanwhile, Goethe's Walpurgis Night sends witches swirling up the Brocken in 1808. If you're wondering when the Halloween witch walks in, we're almost there. Enter the 19th century, where the modern witch takes shape. Historical fiction raids the archives. W. Harrison Ainsworth's The Lancashire Witches dramatizes the 1612 Pendle trials and never goes out of print. Victorians loved the mix of real names like Mother Demdike with high Gothic flair. Across the Atlantic, Elizabeth Gaskell's Lois the Witch puts an innocent girl inside the Salem fever. Gaskell did her homework, nodding to historian Charles Upham, and then turns the screws on mob psychology. The witch becomes the victim of a frightened town. That sympathy matters. 19th century readers start treating witch hunts as collective madness, not righteous crusades. Fairy tales keep the old menace alive. The Brothers Grimm bring the oven witch of Hansel and Gretel and the stepmother queen of Snow White into parlors everywhere. The anti-mother trope is brutal. A woman who should nurture becomes a predator. Romantic poets twist the figure into something haunting and seductive. Coleridge's Christabel hints at a glamorous intruder with a sorcerous bite. Keats's La Belle Dame sans merci leaves knights pale and ruined after a kiss. He calls her fairy, but the behavior is pure enchantress. And in America, Hawthorne turns the witch into a moral X-ray. Young Goodman Brown walks into the forest and sees his neighbors at a midnight Sabbath. Maybe a dream, maybe not, and never trusts anyone again. Mistress Hibbins in The Scarlet Letter whispers about the black man in the woods. Puritan fear becomes allegory. One more 19th century turn, rehabilitation. Jules Michelet's La Sorcière romanticizes medieval witches as herbalists and midwives crushed by patriarchy. It's part fantasy, part politics, and it plants a seed. The witch can be a wise woman, a rebel, a survivor. Pair that with the era's obsession with spiritualism and folklore, and you get a character modern readers can root for, or at least understand. By century's end, the wardrobe is final. Illustrators in Britain and America lock together broomstick, black cat, pointy hat, and a jack-o'-lantern smile. Step 1 into the new century, and L. Frank Baum hands us Oz, with good witches, wicked witches, a broom-sweeping tyrant, and a hat. The 1939 film paints her skin green, but the silhouette is already Victorian. So, where does that leave us? The witch we know today isn't a single invention. She's a collage: Circe's wand, Endor's seance, Morgan's ambiguity, Macbeth's cauldron, trial pamphlet cats, enlightenment skepticism, and Victorian costume design. 19th century writers finish the brew and start asking better questions. Who gets labeled a witch, and why? What power looks like in a woman's hands? Whether fear makes liars of us all. Your turn. Which version holds the most power for you? The forest crone of Grimm, the tempter on Shakespeare's Heath, or Gaskell's wronged outsider? And if you could retire one trope, broom, hat, or black cat, which one flies first? Drop your answer below, and if you're into this kind of literary archaeology, subscribe for more. Until next time, keep your candles lit and your prefaces loaded.